Welcome to Behind the Mirror podcast. Thank you for watching, liking, listening, subscribing. I'm Gary.
I'm Lisa.
And today we have Laura Dolan from Solution Hair in Motherwell currently, and she is currently setting up her own salon in Wishaw. How are you, Laura?
I'm good. Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see I actually work with Laura. And so Laura, how long is it you've been with us?
I think it's about 2 years, maybe just over that.
I thought it was maybe 3.
Yeah, maybe we're coming up to that point. It has been a while.
So
Do you know how authentic this was, right? So when we put out an ad asking for numerous people that we wanted to speak to, and Laura had messaged in, and I know that you'd said you work with her, but sometimes the message chat goes too much. I had shortlisted Laura as my number 1 hair solutions, and then gone through everything else. And today, when our other guest pulled out kind of last minute, I was like, oh my gosh, I need someone to speak to. So I'm on the phone to her and I'm like, right, so we're not filming with Laura today because she's in Miami, but we will be filming with Gary. He's our gay guru that works with us. And she was like, I know.
we're moving away from that. So but it's cool that obviously
like,
you did reach out to
Guy Guru Gary is and with us, and she was like, yeah, no, I work with him. And I was like, well, you know that it was authentic that I reached out to because I actually liked you, not because it was Gary.
It definitely was. And she did say she was going to reach out. So Laura had phoned one day. She says, have you got a room? And I was like, oh, are you a beauty therapist? She went, no, I do hair replacement. And she did say to me from the word go, she went, it will be about 6 months. I'm in the process of wanting to do my own. And there they are, 2 years later.
Yeah, and I was still here. But
I'm still here, thank God.
Exactly.
But no, she's setting up her own, and it's April, I think you're leaving.
Yeah.
So
April.
whereabouts in Wishaw is it?
It's just right in the main street. So if anybody's from Wishaw, like I don't know if you know Wishaw well, but it's the old uniform shop. So everybody in Wishaw knows it as that because it was that for like 30 years. So it's so funny, like see when I got the place and everybody was like, oh, it's going to be another hairdressers in Wishaw, like in the uniform shop. But no, it's right in the middle, like smack bang. So I'm buzzing. I can't
and what's
wait.
interesting about it is it's not just going to be another hairdressers. You're bringing something to North Lanarkshire that not really many people do. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's so niche. Like a lot of people don't do it, and a lot of people that are suffering from hair loss don't even know that it's actually an option.
So let's break it down. So obviously you do men and females.
Yep.
So like tell us, at what point are you taking over from an extension technician, for example?
Yeah, so probably I would say, see at the point where your client is starting to notice, you know, their scalp, especially at the root area at the top, you know, they're really struggling to cover their hair extensions because their hair's getting finer and that coverage for them just isn't there. That's when you would, you know, move on to a system because you need that coverage at the top. And as you know, hair extensions just don't do that. And you can only put them so high up, you know, on someone's head. So if they don't have that coverage there, they need to go to a system because there's just not really any way, you know, around it. And
it's so fascinating seeing some of the like transformations leaving. So something we're very aware of in the salon is people are coming into a salon where people have hair. So we want to make all of the clients that are here for Laura, we know they're there for Laura, not because they've got finer hair, you just know each other's clients now. But Laura hadn't not long started and I was getting ready to leave and everyone had their clients and then this woman walked in and I went, are you in for Laura? And she went, what are you trying to say? And I went, oh, well, I'm leaving and everyone else has got their clients in and you've just walked in, so I'm assuming you're for Laura, but I'm not assuming you're for Laura. So it's kind of I was trying to find that balance to
I love
with.
how like genuine a person you are, how much that would have stopped you in your tracks to be like, oh, I know, that's not what I meant.
Exactly, that's what it was, because you don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
No, of course not. It's obviously just been like a bad set of circumstances. Look at the sweat dripping off of me even telling that story.
I'm in here, I bloody blush, I sweat. Honestly.
So I think it would be quite cool to bust some myths for both hairdressers and clients. So I'll just start. Obviously, I do loads of extensions. That's kind of my bag. I don't do any hair replacement stuff. So let's start with some like basic things that people. So I've been in a position where there's been a couple of clients, and I'm like, you know, we're maybe at a point where we're looking for something alternative for you. What do you recommend? So when they've got hair on the top, but it's very fine, do you shave it off?
No.
But male?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
The gents can keep their hair as well. There is an adhesive out there now that can go over the hair and the scalp.
Is that a topper?
All these different words like
toppers.
No, it's fine. Toppers, systems. There is so many different words. I like to call them systems. I feel that just keeps it general and everyone can kind of understand what that means. But yeah, so with like the adhesives, you can use it. You can either shave their hair and use an adhesive, or you can put the adhesive over the scalp and the hair so that it's a no shave method. I tend to find gents, Gents are a wee bit more like, oh, just shave it. I'm just going to try this. Like, we'll just do it. Whereas I find, like, with my women especially, they want to avoid that. You know, shaving your hair is a really drastic thing, especially for a woman. Whereas I feel like for gents, you know, they can just shave their hair and go out into the world. You know, they might not want to, but it's socially more acceptable for them. So, you know, that risk is, by the time they get to me, it's like, right, I've tried everything I can try. This is the next step in my journey. See if it works, great. But guys can just shave their hair off and then grow it back to a point where they want it to be. Whereas with women, with women, that's not the case. So no shave methods for women is like where you want to be.
So I think what you're saying is totally right. And this is something that I want to discuss as well, because it is technically socially okay for men to shave their hair, but it must be soul destroying 100%. For you to have to shave your hair rather than you wanting to. It isn't like a choice. So I like buzzing my hair off, as you know. That's my choice. To have your head shaved from there to there can't be comfortable. You can't want that. But we know that the end result that you're going to give them by doing that is outstanding. But I could never imagine a woman purposely saying, please shave the top of my head, because look at James went and got the scalp pigmentation to make it look like he's got a constant buzz
Like
cut.
tattoos.
Yeah, the skin tattoos. But he says when he went for his consultation, they shaved him down with like a open clipper, and he says even he, who normally shaves his head, felt bald. He says he was walking back to Glasgow Central like, oh my god, everyone's staring at me. But again, nobody was. But it's very interesting how
that's
you said
how
that.
like obviously with that in mind, that's obviously with me opening my salon, with that in mind for my clients and how self-conscious they can feel, you know, during the service, even after the service, they can feel really self-conscious.
Must be a massive change. If
It's
you've been
huge.
walking about thinning over time and you've gradually become used to how you look, and then all of a sudden you've got this, you know, beautiful, a bob or a long locks or something, it must be like, you probably feel like you're sticking out like a sore thumb, even although you're not. It's just you're not used to seeing you. You know what it's like when you even just change your hair colour?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
Everyone's looking at me.
Yeah, totally.
No, it's so dramatic, and that's the thing. Like when I'm doing consultations with my clients, I'm brutally honest. I'll sit them down and I'll say, listen, like this is going to change your life. You're going to love it. But see, when you're getting it fitted and the day that you leave, you will not love it.
No.
You won't love it. You're going to be sitting there going, I'm wearing a wig.
Yeah.
Why have I done
Everyone
this?
knows it's a wig.
Everyone knows this. You know, this isn't me. It's not. But see, after 4 weeks, when they're due to come back to me for the first adjustment, that's when I see like the biggest difference. And they come in and they're like walking in the door and they're like, oh, like loving it. And that's when I see the difference is 4 weeks after, because it takes you that long to get used to it.
So how long, is there a difference in glue and non-glue methods and how long they last? Like how long do you need to, because obviously, so I do nanos, I do micro, like I do numerous fusions, etc. But nano is probably my most popular, and I'm looking anywhere between 10 and 15 weeks based on their growth, based on their hormones, etc. What's the kind of timescale for a refit on a hair piece?
So for all systems in general, for male and female, it's every 4 weeks you need to come in. So the difference is the hair is on top of your head. It's not in amongst your own. So like right now, obviously I've got hair extensions in as well. Like when it grows down, you've got that coverage there for your own hair that you can't see it. But when you're wearing a system, it's right on top. It's right the focal point, you know, in front of your eyes.
Does it start to rise?
It doesn't start to rise, but you feel it shifting. It's more, by that 4 week mark, it's more something clients can feel rather than what others can see. If you wait longer than that, it's something that people can see because you start brushing your hair and it's moving. So that's why the maintenance is so important. And I think as well, like you see online, you know, like people that are having issues with their systems and then they go in, and I've seen a lot of stylists online like slating systems and they'll be like, look at the mess of this. But that's because some professionals say 4 to 6 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks, whereas that's not where I'm realistic about it. You need to come to me every 4 weeks, and that's just, if you want it to look good, you want it to be, you know, gentle on your natural hair, the maintenance is so important. And I think that's where, you know, people are starting to say, oh, it causes damage. No, it doesn't cause damage. It only causes damage if you're not given the proper aftercare and you're not coming in for your appointments.
But that's the same as so many, isn't it? Because like with extensions, a lot of people will be like, extensions ruin your hair. And you're like, well, they might. If a cowboy does them that's never done an actual head of hair in their life, they've done an online course for 2 hours. And I don't know if any of you have seen the viral photos that are going out just now about the girl that's fitting these extensions. And it's not to target her work, but she's not a hairdresser. She's done an online course and they are atrocious.
Yeah.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
There's no sectioning. She's fitting them with the wrong beads on the wrong type. And yeah, people did end up with traction alopecia. They ended up with problems and they blame extensions.
That's
they're
it.
like, well, no, you went for a budget. You went for a package deal somewhere that was too good to be true, and it was.
Yeah.
So do you mind me asking, what's the kind of price for like if I'm looking for a male or a female general hairpiece, and what's the upkeep? What's the prices like?
Yeah, so they kind of, on average, they start anywhere from like 660 round about there, and they just go up from there, obviously depending on what you're looking for. Now 660 is like your minimum. Smallest system, lightest density, not a lot of colour work, so that's kind of your starting point there.
Basic bob type thing.
Yeah, basic bob, like, and because everyone's coverage area is different.
Right.
So not everyone can have the same system because some people need more and some people need less. So
Right.
660 is kind of where it sits. And then for refits, you're talking 78, goes all the way up to maybe 90 or above that. Again, it depends what type of system
But
you've
it's
got.
it's really good to know, because obviously you are insanely qualified. You are a stylist, like you've been doing this a lot of years. And I think if someone's looking at doing this option, they're already potentially lacking in confidence as it is. The last thing we want is them to be finding, air quotes here, a deal and maybe choosing the wrong person to do this job that doesn't know quite what they're doing. So it's good for people to have a sort of like, well, if it's less than that or a lot less than that, it's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think, if people are putting out deals and things like that, like there is some people in the industry and I look at their prices and I think, I do not know where you're getting your hair from to be able to charge these prices. It's unreal, because you're like, I really don't want to think about what factories you're buying from or what companies you're buying
Or is it
from.
like, have you
that's your
shaved a
price.
child's head in another country? Because genuinely, there's a whole thing about ethical sourcing of hair.
Yeah.
It's an actual thing.
Aye.
We want I've said this to my clients before, you'll go online and you will find someone doing a full head for half the price I am, but I can tell you now the hair that I source is ethically sourced. Whoever's donated it has not been scalped. They've thinned their hair out. They've got a fair price for the hair that you're then using. You want to put a fox's tail in your head, by all means, and you will find some rookie cowboy that's willing to do that. But it's but then they tug and you're putting more pressure on your own hair because the hair quality is rubbish.
Yep.
So when you brush your hair's already fine. It's like the repetitive cycle. Don't buy cheap rubbish hair because it's not good. It's not going to help.
I don't even I get a lot of people approaching me saying I can get my hair from such and such. Well, will you fit it for me? I just say no.
Because what are they going to do?
Your insurance probably won't cover that either, because then you start looking at things like when they say it's wrecked my hair, who's to blame? Who fits all these hundreds of people with your own stuff and it's all good? Or the one person that came in with their own sourced Amazon delivery of
TikTok shop hair.
Oh right, look at this, it's lovely.
How do you approach someone who's having like an emotional difficulty with finding their hair and going about having their first system? And I know Laura's one of the bubbliest, nicest people, and I know that when she's in that room, that client should feel really comfortable, and there's no bitchiness. But how do you go about that, like treating somebody emotionally?
I think I just start by treating them the way that I would want a family member to feel. Like, I just think, I just talk to them like a person, and I think empathy is a big, massive.
Needs to be.
I care, I genuinely care about my clients, and I think as long as you've got that in you, you're able to, emotionally support people through difficult times. I mean, as a hairdresser, you get, everyone's different points in their life, and you get hardships that you're bringing your clients through. With hair loss, there's an added pressure on maybe their insecurities are maybe a wee bit deeper than, because it all resonates with their hair and their hair loss. So yeah, I think just dealing with them emotionally, it's just being there for them, listening when they need to be listened to, and if they need advice, giving them that if they're looking for it. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes I think just being there and giving them an ear.
It must be quite difficult for you as well, because I know that you're in that room with some people on your own, And even when you're out in a salon and someone's maybe having a bad day, and the feel of the salon can pick up when someone's crying. So it must be quite difficult and emotional for you to have someone talking to you and crying in that room. Because I know, even thinking about this right now, I'm filling up because you're imagining someone sitting there.
Oh, Gary, I love you. You're such a wee soul.
I do. It's just because I can imagine what it's like for these people, and I know how good.
Oh, bless him.
You're so sweet.
I know how good she's going to be.
Oh,
You're going to make me go.
Right. Oh my God.
I'm such an empath. You need to stop it.
Right.
Okay, apparently I just look socially dead inside
No,
because
no.
I'm like that. Right. Snap back. Come on.
Snap back on. It's just I know that she's in a room and I know that she deals with a lot of emotional trauma dumped on her, and I think that must be quite hard to take away at the end of the day as well.
Makes you a really special stylist, to be fair. Like, we, in a generic sense, like you're saying, we have a salon, we have people around us, and there's maybe other clients and stuff, and yeah, we absolutely hear the highs, lows, uglies, truths, whatever, all these things. You to do that on a solo journey is almost like therapeutic for someone very, very I mean, I'm a small salon, but I still wouldn't regard myself as that one-to-one as what you are. And I think that's pretty admirable that you've chosen such an amazing way to show your talent, because you're giving people their confidence back.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's what made me get into it, though. Do you know, like, it's the clientele genuinely that's kept me in this part of the industry, because there's so many different parts of hairdressing you can get into, but this is where I've stuck because the clients are so special. And although it is really difficult, and if I'm in that private room, somebody's getting really emotional, I'm starting to feel really emotional, I'm trying to keep it together because they're, I'm the professional in that situation. Although that's really, really difficult, it's so worth it, because the relationships I've built, like genuinely with my clients, there's some they're just amazing. They're just
What do you do? Sorry, just from a professional perspective, because I'm just wondering here, you obviously allocated a time for the appointment. So say the refit's taking an hour. Someone comes in and they're very, very, very emotional. It's eating an awful lot of the time of the appointment. How do you kind of, still being professional, still being kind, speed that up a wee bit?
Yeah, I just keep working through it. And
okay.
but my clients, like, they know that, I don't know, my job's just a second nature to me at this point. I feel like I've been doing it forever. It is literally like second nature. I just fire in and keep chatting. Do you know, like, I don't really give a lot of eye contact through the mirror anyway, so I can just get my head down and keep working. They're looking at me, but I'm like doing my thing. But I'm also really, really engaged in the conversation. So, like, I never do that thing where you're like listening to somebody, and you're just
and
sort of
stop, and then like you're foiling, and then you're like, all right, what were you saying there?
No, I never ever do that. I'm constantly, but I'm always just multitasking. Like, I don't know, it just flows, it just works. There is times though where you run late, and whether it's maybe someone's having a down day about their hair, so they maybe pick it apart a wee bit more than what they would in, at every other appointment, that can make me run over, or there's emotions are running high, that can make me run over. But one of my clients said to me a wee while ago, and she was like, Laura, I don't mind when you run late. She's like, even if you're 30, 40 minutes late, I know that you take the time with your clients to make sure they're getting the best service that they can. And I hope that whoever's in after me, if I'm having a bad day and you've took that extra time with me, that they would understand it. Yeah. So I think I like to think all my clients have that same sort of attitude, around it, because they understand how important their hair is to them, and they understand how important it is for their hair to look the way that they want it to look as well.
Everyone's coming into you for that, so they need to understand that the person before you might have a couple of questions or new issues with it that they need sorting out. So it's not just a case of like, right, come on, let's go.
It's a lot of money. Like, if we just lay it on the table, it's a lot of money to spend. It's the same with me with extensions. It's not quite maybe as much, because I can do maybe just 20 just to give someone. So we're not at that point yet, but it's a lot of money, and it's life-changing money for some people in their image as well. And so you do need to be sure. You wouldn't just, go into a shop and be like, that car will do. Like you drive, exactly. You know what I mean? You've got questions. Well, you've got things.
I know that she's, and you're looking into doing like a kind of a premium system, aren't you?
Yeah, so there is a new system on the market at the moment that uses an adhesive that's specifically based to stick onto your scalp and your hair at the same time.
Is this the controversial scenario with the glue?
Yes.
Right, so again, I'm not qualified in your field, but I do know that there's a massive problem going on there. It's a bit like the nail world, you kind of know a thing, like, hit us up, like, what's going on with the glue?
It's basically, there's big leaders in the industry for that type of system that have been going around for years and years and years. They've been about for a lot longer. And now there's people coming out and creating their own versions of that and their own versions of the adhesive. So, you know, there is a lot of talk at the moment, what's in the adhesive, where is it from? Like, it's a brand new product. And there is a lot of controversy behind it. I wonder if I don't know if it's other professionals trying to just batter each other down and eliminate the competition, but there is a lot of speculation of what's in these products and what are they using. Do you know what I mean? It's an issue at the moment. The hair loss industry isn't regulated, so
none of the hairdressing
not?
world.
Yeah, no, it's not
hairdressing
regulated.
isn't regulated.
I suppose actually, yeah, okay.
It's the exact same case for hair loss, and I'm going to be deadly serious with you. I think it's a major problem.
Yep.
See, in the next couple of years, I really hope this doesn't happen, but someone's going to take a serious allergic reaction to these adhesives. And it's going
on
to
your scalp as
Do
well.
you
It's
patch
not just
test
like,
the
yeah,
adhesive?
you need to patch test. A lot of people out there that are newly training don't, and I think, you know, there's a lot of training out there as well, and it's your 2-day courses and your 3-day courses. This is not a 3-day course method. It's not. I have been developing like my own version for 3 years. Like, the amount of time and money I've invested into it, you can't just release it because it's going to cause major issues with clients. You can take scalp infections. People could get septic over these adhesives. So it's a serious issue right now. And I'm at this point where I want to see if I can maybe regulate this side of the industry, because you know what it's like with injectables and things now. You know, they're trying to regulate that side of the industry. Somebody's going to be badly hurt for this side of the industry to be regulated.
We love Purple Hearts. That's what their mission is. They are trying to make the hair industry Michelin star.
Right.
So we're kind of working with them in the background at the minute. They're a not-for-profit company, and their whole thing is like, if you are very good at your job, you get, you know, your star to say, oh, she's got insurance, she's got blah, she's got whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go up the levels and you become effectively Michelin starred in the hairdressing world.
Right.
And then clients will start looking for the salons that they use to have these stars.
Well, I was going to say, what do you feel someone should look for in a hair replacement professional?
Credentials. I mean, where did they train? Who did they train with? And how long have they been doing it for? Those are all the questions that you should be asking. I think when you see, you know, deals, and this might be controversial, but especially with hair replacement, deals is not really going to give you the service that you really need as a hair loss client.
I feel in any industry where you should be professional, deals are never a good idea. I don't think anyone should go for a deal. But this is where I'm going to answer my own question. You go on Wiltshire and you go, oh, there's a 2-night stay for 155. Yeah, but you know the
Yeah, but
you know
is
the
it the
hotel's
best hotel?
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes they can be, but no, I'm kind of arguing one point, but I know what I mean in regards to that. It's like, you shouldn't be getting deals on your Botox, hair replacements, nails, anything that you could take a reaction to, or something that, I don't know, something you want to look really good, you shouldn't have to pay cheap for. And I'm not saying you should pay
It's also
dear.
like, we need to be paid a wage.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to keep arguing about like, oh, well, that my balayage was 150. Oh, well, it was 120 at this salon. They maybe use different products. Like,
Yeah.
we're not trying to rob people.
No.
But equally, we're worth more than minimum wage.
Yeah,
Do
that's
you know what I
it.
mean? Like, we've spent a lot of time and our own money
Yeah.
learning how to do these skills. I think with the hair replacement, how long does it last? So once you've paid your initial, bought your top piece of hair, how long are you looking at that?
There isn't really a set time. There
Right.
isn't, you know, and I tell clients that in consultations, I can't guarantee you're going to get a certain amount of time. On average, with my client base, now this isn't obviously guaranteed, but in my client base, I tend to see, like, the gents is different. So the gents, they tend to last about the 6-month mark.
Right.
So I've got clients that get 12 months out it.
Right.
Do you know? But I can't say to you, you're going
Yeah,
to
of
get
course.
12 months.
Yep.
The least amount of time I've seen the gents last is probably about the 3-month mark. That's somebody who wearing a hard hat all day, they go swimming loads, they go to the gym loads, they like to change their style all the time, they're gluing bits down by themselves and all that sort of stuff.
That was my next question.
That was mine as well.
Yeah,
That's
like
funny you
what
said that.
if it does lift, just they're on holiday or something, do you provide them with a travel size glue, or do they get you?
Yeah, so I use Ghost Bond. That's the company I enjoy, and they've got a really massive range, so they're great to work with. They do like a wee pen, and like, do you remember those like concealers you used to get, and it had like the bristles, like concealer? Yeah, like those.
Yeah.
So, and you twist the bottom and it comes
Yeah.
out. So there's basically that, but for glue. So they're super easy to use. Twist up, you can apply the adhesive just on the edge and where you need it. Let it set and then stick it back down. So you've always got that wee bit of security there.
Just in case.
To be honest with you, I don't really get issues like that. Like,
No, but it's good to know, isn't it? Because if someone was to go on
There are
holiday
options,
and they're
yeah.
in the sea and just
Yeah.
by sheer flukes, just
Yeah.
something happens. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more of the like advertisements for, even just on Instagram, people being able to buy their own hair and use the double-sided sticky tape.
yeah.
So how does that make you feel? Like,
So the double-sided tape's fine. It just doesn't give you a very strong hold, and using that's probably easier because you can just sort of stick it down. If the tape gets on your hair, it's not a big deal. You can just take it off. But I don't know, these at-home jobs, they are what they are. Do you know what I
imagine
mean?
shaving your own head though.
Yeah.
no, I think these men would still have to go, because it has to be quite a perfect smoothness on top. So
That's just-
you
I know.
maybe could do it yourself, but I think that a lot of these guys would still go get their size done.
Yeah.
Maybe get the top bicked and
They
then
just leave that bit
Yeah.
long.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do try and encourage, like, I understand that the service, obviously, that I do is more of your luxury service. It is because of the price point and where it sits and how often you need to come in. And I understand that it's not in everyone's budget to be able to get those high ticket services. I try my very best to keep it as affordable as I possibly can, and if there's a way that I can stretch out your maintenance that's going to be safe for your own hair and, you know, still keep the system looking good, I'll work with my clients to get them to that point. Or there is some clients where I've, you know, I'll try and guide them on how to maintain it at home. It's just, I'm not the biggest fan of it, because say you take the system off yourself, you know, you get a nick in your scalp and maybe it's bleeding or whatever, and then you yourself is just like, oh, I'll just fire some glue on it and stick it back on, it'll be fine. That can cause serious health issues. That's a massive deal. And although I'm not there to help you, that's not my responsibility, but at the same time I do feel responsible for my client's care. So I don't advise that you do it yourself, but I'll try my very best to, you know, help clients if I can.
Have you? I've actually just thought of a whole like new marketing thing. Like my brain runs a miles an hour. Obviously, right now, if you're diagnosed with alopecia or a health condition that affects your hair, then the NHS will fund 4 synthetic wigs a year or 1 human wig a year. Is there anything that allows them to not do the wig option and instead get partial funding from either private healthcare insurance or NHS insurance to the likes of yourself?
Yeah, so recently there was actually a big case now, like you can go online and research this. There's a company that basically he was registered with his local GP practice, and the GP practice, if anyone came in with specific hair loss issues, that GP practice would then refer them to this company
Or hair loss system.
for hair loss systems,
Right.
yeah, for men and women. I think it was mainly women though at that point in time. So there is partnerships that you can do, and it is something I would like to go down the route of, you know, to be able to, because a lot of people don't even know this exists. So it is a big deal. But from what I've heard, GP practices aren't really keen on partnering up with
A hairdresser, just a hairdresser.
Yeah, do you know? But they don't understand what it is that I do. Do you know what I mean? That's why coming on here today and talking about it is so important, because a lot of people just think it's just hair extensions, or it's not.
Reminds me, I heard you on the phone, and I thought, and I says to Laura, I wasn't listening to your conversation, but I heard that she was planning on offering like a Klarna sort of a option.
Yeah, so
And I think, what an amazing idea, you know, like help these people, because
There's a lot of money, yeah.
but it's worth it. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
of
But
course.
I think that's a great. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so it's just an investment. Do you know what I mean? It means that my clients can, over time, pay their full balances up for their maintenance and their fitting, so that, you know, they'll basically say, right, this is going to cost you this much over the year. This is a payment plan that you can then pay it up, and then there's not really any worries about, you know, oh, my next maintenance is going to cost this much, and you know, my tumble dryer blew it the other day, and do you know, it means that you've always got that
full year's thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
even better then.
Yeah.
That's even better.
That's what my dentist do. I pay every month, and in the year I get like 2 hygiene appointments and 1 checkup and
Exactly.
whatever. But every month it's just another thing that comes out, and then that way you don't need to sort of think about it.
Yeah,
That's very
exactly.
clever. I literally thought it would have been like the paying 3 or whatnot. But if you know how much your bill's going to be for the year,
Yeah.
what an amazing idea. That's so clever.
That mainly came from the fact that like my clients, it's better if they have 2 systems at the one time, because you know what it's like with extensions. It gets to a point, their lifespan, they're at the end of their days.
Yeah.
It's like
And
you're
they're trying to
really-
drag out one more, and you're like, oh my
yeah,
god,
you're like, I don't really want
what are we
to
doing with this? It's like,
they're really pushing the boat out,
Yeah.
you know. So really, ideally, it's better for them to have 2. And obviously, with hair extensions, it's like you can just take your hair extensions out for a couple of days. You'll
Tie it
feel like
up.
you've got no hair. But my clients genuinely have no hair, so they can't go that couple of months until they can find their next payment. So I take a 50% deposit, and as long as that's in, I'll prep everything for you coming in. So that payment plan is going to include all their maintenances, paying up the second half of their first system, and then starting like the 50% deposit for the next one. So they've always got that, you know, reassurance there that they've got here sitting in the salon waiting for them if something was to happen.
You might need to order it in, and it'll take weeks to come.
Yeah.
And all that
so
sort
I'm
of
interested
things.
then from a business perspective on how something like that would work for you. So like you have a sort of Klarna situation, but you need to, so say you're buying £1,000 hairpiece. Your company need that £1,000 in the account to buy that hairpiece. So if they're only paying you blah, blah, and blah each month, do you get the payment as a winner from Klarna? And then they pay Klarna back?
Yeah,
Or is that how it works?
So the specific company that I'm looking into, I did look into Klarna, but they could only do like three.
Right, okay,
That's a lot,
But
yeah.
for the one for the full year, it would be like a finance company.
Right.
So yeah, technically I would get all of that amount in that one go, and then that allows me to order, you know, their hair in for
And
them.
you're not out of pocket.
Then
at
you've
all.
got
I'm
to
not.
budget so carefully for the year, because like obviously that's going to be effectively quite a lot of money in one appointment.
Yep.
I mean, they're giving you a year's worth of appointments at
Yep.
once.
Yep.
So you only be
Oh, I
so
never thought about
careful
that,
Yeah, that's
actually.
that you don't then be like, oh my God, I don't know if I could trust myself or something like that.
I've just spent that this weekend.
I know,
I don't know,
God,
like,
and there's a cruise.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, good holiday. No, I don't know. Like, I find it really easy to manage. I think I'm very organised, especially with my finances. I think you need to be, because at the end of the day, you know, it's so strange. But I look at my business bank account. That's not my money.
Yeah, I do the same.
It's not my money.
Yeah.
That's my client's money. That's my, you know, my potential staff's money. Like, so, you know, I think it's really important that I do keep it budgeted, and like, even like, so see for the 50% deposit thing, like I just take the hit, because the hair obviously is more than the 50% deposit. Every time somebody gives me that, I'm just taking the hit.
Yeah.
You know, and
So
if
that's
they
what I
don't
do
come
with
in, I'll-
extensions as well, and it was just interesting to speak to somebody as well. Like
Yeah.
obviously, like £1,000 is a lot more than what I would spend on. I mean, can you imagine how many hair extensions
God.
you'd be putting in somebody's head for? Like it'd be a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting, like
Yeah.
different perspective.
It's two separate sort of a kind of a the situations are what's the word I'm looking for?
In sync.
similar, but
Similar, but
yeah.
completely different at the same time.
And I'm with you with the regulation, because it really, really riles me that extensions get a bad name when they're performed and also not maintained correctly by the client.
Yeah.
Like, you got to take a wee bit of onus on your own
That's it.
situation if you're going to treat them badly.
Do you feel maybe because of how much you charge and because of the severity of the service, do you find that your clients could possibly be a little bit more, not your clients we're talking about here, but just people would maybe a bit more pernickety, you know, maybe a little bit more
High maintenance.
Well, I'm not high maintenance.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why not everyone does hair loss, and that would be the reason. My clients are very self-conscious. They do that. They have that insecurity there from the get-go, which means they're very specific on what they're looking for. So yeah, they're much more. They can be difficult. Like, and some of my clients know that. Like, we'll laugh about it now. Like, I've got to the point, I know them so well. I'm like, oh, what are you like? You're always complaining. Do you know what I mean? But it's a joke. It's always like a laughable thing, because there's always a solution. Do you know? And that's,
like what you did there.
Why,
Like what you did there. Good plug.
but that's But that's why it works though, because you know there is always a solution there to any issue that my client might have, and there is going to be issues.
Yep, that's the
Every
thing.
single person, like, and again in consultations, I'll sit I'm just honest, and it might be a bit off-putting sometimes because I'm brutally honest, but I will just say you're going to have problems, but it's how we work together as like a team to get you to the point where you're like 110% happy with your hair.
It's such a good way to approach it, because there you've just said we're working as a team, letting them know I'm here with you. This isn't this. You're
that's
not
it.
on this journey yourself. I'm here to help you too. So
Yeah.
it's very, very clever, very, very honest as well. And like, even you saying I'm being brutally honest, I can't imagine you sitting down being like, "Shut up, you're getting this." It would still be said, seeing the way that she's acting and being today, like so kind and genuine. And I just feel like it. So even though she's been brutally honest, she's not being like.
Yeah.
What do you think the hair loss side of the industry needs to improve on as a whole?
Hair loss, I would say.
I couldn't remember that.
No,
I was just about to say, you read that like a robot.
It was because I knew it in my head. I could not, and I was like, why can't I read this out? Sorry, on you go.
That's fine. I think the salons that are training, you know, and doing these 2-3 day courses, that needs to stop. And I think that it just needs to be regulated.
Do you think
more.
it needs to be more of like an apprenticeship then for the
Yes.
likes of hair loss systems? Because it's so
100%.
specific. Right, got you.
Yeah, 100%. I really think that it should be, you know, you going and you're employed by a salon for however long it may take. Like, I'm at the point where I'm going to be taking interviews after this
Aye,
to
you
get
too.
apprentices in. Yeah, I will give them that option to learn hair replacement, but they will need to stay on with me and gain years of experience before they can go self-employed. If that's what they want to do, like, more than happy for them to do it, but they need to have that experience, because I just wouldn't be putting people out in the world free on all these clients' hair, because see, at the end of the day, it's the clients that are suffering, and they're the ones that come to me with the issues, and I just see how it affects them, and it's just so unfair, do you know?
See, as well, just to digress a wee bit, like when I obviously did extensions, and I'll just own it and say, when you first qualify, and I went on a proper course through professional like standards, you're not very good.
No. No.
Like, you're not. I must have done about 100 heads, like, for the price of the hair, and sometimes free.
That's it.
Just to try and build up my own, like, that I didn't like those beads, didn't like those pliers, didn't feel comfortable with that technique, didn't like that section and pattern, until eventually you get to a point, and I'm the same as you, it takes years.
Yep.
I can say whoever came to me now 3 years ago, it's not the same service they're getting now.
No.
No way.
No.
Not even slightly close. Different hair, different
Yep.
beads, different tools.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked really hard to go on other courses to be like, why are we not cutting layers really into the front of extensions? Like, why?
Yeah.
Just nobody wants to really do it.
Yeah.
Well, I do now.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't because they don't teach it.
Yeah.
So I think, there's so much to be said about learning on the job and knowing, like, if you look at my work back then, it was never bad, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
We all grow and develop.
Oh, 100%. But
we all grow.
you have to be willing to admit that. And also, like I say, I put hundreds and hundreds of free hours of my own work.
That's it.
And time. I
Yeah.
did not get paid for any of that
Yeah.
to build a portfolio that I am now massively proud of, to be like, you know what, I'm
Good.
But if you're employed, do you know, you're doing an apprenticeship or whatever it may be, you've got that support there.
got the boss that's going to
You'll
turn around and say,
learn-
okay, so
Like,
No.
it's quicker.
Yeah.
You don't need to make... I have made... Oh, let me tell you, I have made every mistake
Same.
you could possibly make. I'm so glad that my clients like me, because but you do it, like, you make mistakes.
Of course you do.
And I'll, like, when I've got my apprentice and stuff, I'll say, you're going to make some massive mistakes, but we'll deal with it. We'll get through it. We'll find ways to fix it. It's not a big deal, as long as... And that's the thing, I think... Like, a lot of people will make a mistake on a client's head and then want to avoid the situation and never get them back in again. I'm like, no, let me get you back in. Like, my next slot, we're going to sort this. And I think it's how you deal with it.
it's like, though, it's weird, our industry, you are put down for admitting you've made a mistake. Like,
Yeah.
see if I've done a colour on someone and I look at it and I think, I don't like that tone, actually, I'm going to stick another one on. For some reason, a lot of people penalise, I'm not going back to her, she messed up my hair. No, I actually was the first person to go, nah,
Yeah.
I don't have a vibe in that. And in any other industry, you would be praising that. You'd be like,
Yeah.
by the way, she's an amazing dressmaker.
Yeah.
She noticed it wasn't fitting quite nice on me, and so she went out her way to fix it. But it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
So no, I'm sure. I feel like this episode could have gone on for hours and
know.
hours. Like,
I
I'm
know.
really, really enjoying it. So quick fire game. Can you go swimming with hair loss systems?
Yes.
Can you brush them with a regular brush?
Yes.
You've got... Wait, Gary, you need to help. Come on.
Yeah, but your idea. I didn't say quick fire questions. I didn't say anything about quick fire questions.
I just think there's a lot of answers that we need, and we've just got a couple of minutes to tell us. Can you colour them?
Yes.
Yes.
Bleach as well?
Yes.
So you can foil them, lift them. So if they went to a not you to have them coloured, a regular stylist could just behave like their regular hair.
Yes, but obviously, like, all these questions I'm answering, they do have like a wee bit of like a
there's
follow up.
more.
Do you know? Like, yes, you can colour them if they're not already like a level 9, 10.
Right.
Anything.
Can you tone them?
Yes, you can tone them, but the toner doesn't last as long because it's pre-coloured hair,
Yeah,
super
same with
porous,
extensions.
sucks it in, spits back out. So yeah, you can colour, but there's colours like, you know, your coppers and your reds and your violet reds and all that sort of stuff. They don't last as long as what, you know, your standard blondes and browns will. Like, I've did a lot of research, as you've probably done as well, into that, what the actual hair is and how it's coloured and things. They use like big vats to dye all the hair, so it isn't like professional colour in the standard that we would consider it. It's like more or less fabric dyes. That's kind of how they
And it
do
starts off black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jet black.
Oh, is that the
hair.
kind of the
big vats, and it's like-
So like I always tell my blonde clients, like, you're going to get less than someone who's brunette out of this hair,
exactly.
because the more light you're taking it, the more damage has been caused to that hair.
Yeah.
And because
Exactly.
it's not been done. Yeah.
So, like, I'm trying to change the industry slightly at this point because I'm looking into like virgin European hair virgin donors, where it's like, you know, one person donor cuts it off at the bobble, and it's virgin European hair. So it's hair obviously like ours. So it's finer, it's lighter colours, and that hopefully is going to last longer, and you can do anything to that because it's virgin.
Yeah.
But obviously everything else is pre-coloured hair, so that's how you're getting it in. So yeah, you can swim with it, like, but
It's not going to float away in the pool or
it's
anything.
not going
is
to
it?
blow away in the pool, no.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Have you got any before we finish up?
I just wanted to ask, is there anything you really would want to say, anything you want to finalise on, or anything
you know
actually
what?
important?
Do you charge for consultations if anyone wants to speak to you?
I do take £15 just now, but it's more like that just comes off your bill if you go for it. If you don't go for it, obviously,
Well,
like,
it's to protect
it's
your time, of course. So.
Yeah, it's to stop people from not showing up, just because like all my clients show up and they're really religious with their appointments, which is great, but consultations are super flaky, and I totally understand. It's just because they're at that point where they've battled so long and what they're going to do, that they sometimes don't show up. So.
Laura once had a guy for her, and she didn't get a vibe off him, said, listen, no, not taking anybody on. And he turned up at the salon, and I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah,
And I'm like,
you know.
Oh, yeah, I'll let her know you're in. And I led him through the back, and she's going, he's not even in me today.
like,
She's going, that was the guy I
who
told
are
out
you?
of was they taking anybody on. And I turned up at the salon with his wife, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm going through.
Do you know what the thing is as well? Like, see, because once I've got a client, they come to me more or less forever. Like, the majority of my clients I've known since I was like 18. So when I'm taking on clients, I'm very specific about the relationship, and, you know, because we need to be able to, you know what it's like as well, like, you need to be able to get on with someone. You're sitting, spending a lot of time, and they're investing, I'm very cautious, they're investing a lot of money into me as well.
Yeah.
So to give them the best service, we need to get each other, we need to understand each other. And I think there's some people where you just don't feel that you can give them the best service,
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
because the personalities just aren't clicking.
Yeah,
So-
I think that's been the same as me. I've never wanted to spend my time pretending to be something I'm not, and that's important for everyone in there.
Yeah.
You want to be happy in your work, don't
That's it, exactly.
you? Thank you so much for coming last minute,
Thank
especially
you.
as well. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that,
It's
and
so
this has been
fun.
an amazing episode. I've really enjoyed it, like learning
yeah.
all about it.
too.
We hope
Me
we'll
too.
get you back on.
Yeah.
We will link your business name below the episode, so if
Amazing.
anyone is looking to speak to Laura about some hair loss replacement systems, or any questions you've got in general that you would like answered, then we'll be able to get her on socials. But thank you so much for watching, listening, liking and subscribing. I'm Lisa
I'm Gary.
and Laura, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.